the point of this video. The point is to kind of, help others know that they're not alone. And also, people who might not have anxiety issues, they might be like, well, communication, of course you need to communicate. Yeah, it's not so easy when you suffer from anxiety, when you have anxiety. Because I know, at least for me, you always go to the worst case scenario in your head and you stress about that. No matter, it could be something super innocent, which in the case with my situation today. So one of the things that I know anxiety really affected my self-esteem. I'm a red seal, which I don't know if that's just a Canadian thing or if it, but it essentially it means like I spent. It's 3 levels for culinary for a chef. It's 4 in some other trade things. To each level, I had to take a practical exam as well as do a written exam, and a minimum of 6 weeks of schooling, and countless hours to be able to pass. So I've got the foundation, the knowledge for it. But one of the things anxiety has done to me has affected that my self-esteem. So I second guess decisions, even though intellectually I know I have that. And I had somebody, not related to the current job I had, but I had an issue, and he was aware of my anxiety issues. And it was related. I was second guessing myself, didn't think I could do it. And he's like, oh, this isn't your anxiety. He didn't see that. Yes, well, it wasn't anxiety per se. The lack of self-esteem, that was the issue, was caused by the anxiety. So that's kind of where that's going. So that's kind of, that self-doubt, that second guessing, that always picturing worst case scenario. I read somewhere about something, any little change, you're wondering what you did. Any little mistake, you're wondering what happened. And this past weekend too, I was physically sick. So, that's, my anxiety is on high alert when I'm physically sick. So that didn't help, things. So the situation, and I just got, today was my first day back to work after recovering from being physically sick. And the situation happened. I was, of course, going into is it me? What am I doing wrong? What happened recently? Why is it like, no consideration of outside forces. And instead of dwelling in that and just letting it slide, I made sure I talked to one of my managers. And through that open communication, it had zero to do with me. Like, not even a minor thing that could easily be resolved. It literally was like probably the best case scenario it could be, not the worst. So here and I've known about this situation since last night. So here I was, worried, struggling to sleep last night when it had zero to do with me. And it was easily resolved, and not just resolved, but again, like super, super positive, probably one of the best ways it could have been resolved. Just by communicating, just by saying, hey, here's my concerns. I just need to know what's going on. I just, and then, I just need to know what's going on. And, and not letting, and I'm glad I did that, because prior to that conversation, my anxiety was telling me I wasn't good enough. I don't deserve any of this. I don't, that's, I'm screwing everything up. Every little mistake is, they say that there's nobody you're your own worst critic, and that's definitely the case in my situation. I feel, my any little mistake, my anxiety amplifies it by a million times. Probably other people have completely forgot about it or moved on, but nope, it's amplified. So of course, that's all going through my mind. Like, was it a mistake that I made? Am I not living up to what they think of me? Which is another issue with communication. You can't live up to what other people expect of you. Nobody else knows what's going on in your in your life, in your head, other than you. And that was also, sorry, slight detour. But that was also, I wrote an article, which is pinned in my Twitter profile. Or not pinned, it's not pinned. It's the link, the URL link is in my Twitter profile, if you guys want to read it. Kind of explaining my journey up until that point with anxiety specifically in the professional kitchen. And writing that article and kind of just writing down the whole story thing, and I sent it to my mom to look at. And she said that, and I'm very, very open with my mom. Very, very open with my mom. She probably knows more about me than anybody else. And so she read it, and she mentioned that there was stuff in there that she didn't even know. So that just goes to prove that, nobody else knows what's going on in your mind. So you're your own worst critic, and anxiety just amplifies that. And even takes compliments, and it's like, no, I don't deserve that compliment. I don't deserve that. So that's where communication is key, because that's the only way you can. It's a struggle to silence it yourself. But if you go like I did, and okay, I need answers. I just need to know. I've already pictured the worst case scenario in my head. So if it's not that, it can only be better. And it feels so much better to have that open communication, to know exactly what's going on. And yeah, it is hard. It's so hard, but it's really important, because that's one of the biggest ways you can battle it, and be like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong, anxiety. This is, and even on the small chance that your anxiety is proven right, then you'll see that you can get through whatever that is. And, but then at least you're not worrying for nothing. And you at least have a resolution. And and there's just a small chance, it doesn't most of the time it doesn't happen. Worst case scenario is exactly that, worst case scenario, for a reason. So just keep that line of communication open, and make sure and don't be afraid to communicate, and keeping that line of communication open. Then you can, when you do have the anxiety, I frequently have mentioned things to my coworkers, to my boss. I'm like, okay, this is my anxiety, and I know it's my anxiety, but please, can you help me deal with it? Can you help me just reassure me that my anxiety is being overcritical? And you don't always need to do that. I didn't need to say, this is my anxiety. This was in the situation last night, today. I didn't need to say that this was my anxiety. That wasn't, I just needed clarity in the situation. And that's what I got. And anybody would need clarity in that situation. Just most people wouldn't have worried about it as much as somebody with anxiety might have, like I did. And, dwelled on it and been nervous to even bring it up. So, yeah, I guess that's my lesson today. And sorry I rambled a little bit, but I hope that it helps and brings more of an understanding to what either other people are suffering, or let you know that you're not alone, and just kind of, again, end that stigma, bring awareness, right? Okay, so see you guys maybe next time.